For nearly 4 years, Yemen's war looked frozen rather than finished. Saudi Arabia and the Iran-backed Houthis had largely stopped major fighting, but it never resolved the deeper battle over power, territory and oil. Now, after the deadly US-Iran conflict, that uneasy calm is beginning to crack again. Attacks and a new Red Sea blockade have raised fears that Yemen and Saudi could once again slide into a devastating regional war. After a decade of destruction, famine and disease in the mountains of Yemen, many hoped the 2022 truce between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis would eventually lead to peace. The Houthis emerged from the war controlling much of northern Yemen, including the capital Sana'a. The south remained under the internationally recognized government, heavily dependent on Saudi military and financial support. For the Houthis, frustration has been building for years. They wanted greater authority over the country, access to oil revenues outside their territory, and international recognition as Yemen's legitimate government. Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, had little appetite for another war. Its previous bombing campaign had become a costly quagmire that contributed to one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. Riyadh wanted stability, not another open-ended conflict. In late 2023, peace appeared tantalizingly close. With the United Nations mediation, Saudi Arabia and the Houthis nearly agreed on a political roadmap for a long-term settlement. A key part of the deal would have restarted salaries for government employees in Houthi-controlled areas, worth an estimated $1 to $2 billion annually, funded largely through Yemen's oil revenues, with Saudi support filling any gaps. But before the agreement could be signed, the Hamas attack on Israel in October 2023 changed the region. The Houthis launched missiles and drones at Israel and commercial shipping in the Red Sea, claiming solidarity with Palestinians. That drew military responses from Western countries. When Donald Trump returned to office last year, he designated the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization and ordered a bombing campaign against them. For months, the Houthis largely avoided direct confrontation with Saudi Arabia. But the recent US-Iran conflict changed the equation. However, the immediate trigger was a dispute over Iranian flights into Sana'a. The Houthis insisted an Iranian aircraft be allowed to land after flights had been suspended for nearly a year. Negotiations failed. When another Iranian plane attempted to enter Yemeni airspace, the Houthis accused Saudi Arabia of bombing Sana'a airport. The Saudi-backed government said it carried out strikes to force the aircraft to divert, alleging it was carrying Iranian weapons. The Houthis denied that claim. Soon afterwards, they announced a blockade on Saudi ships in the Red Sea. The situation has escalated rapidly. Over the past week, the Houthis have fired missiles and drones into Saudi Arabia and targeted ships in the Red Sea, disrupting already volatile global energy markets, also marking a fresh threat over the security of key shipping routes. A Saudi-led coalition has responded with airstrikes in Houthi-held territory for the first time in years. The latest was the attack. The Houthi rebels claimed on Monday that they launched missiles and drones at Saudi Arabia. This in response to Saudi airstrikes on the strategic Red Sea port city of Hodeidah. A satellite image showed smoke rising from an oil facility in Abayaik, Saudi Arabia, on July 27th. With the Strait of Hormuz effectively disrupted by the Iranian crisis, Saudi Arabia is relying far more heavily on the Red Sea to export its oil, the lifeblood of its economy. A Houthi threat to that route strikes directly at Saudi Arabia's economic security. While President Trump has also issued a stark warning on July 23rd, he threatened major military punishment if the Houthis continue attacking Saudi oil tankers. The fragile balance over all these years is now seen or seemingly breaking apart.